Each Point to Charlotte, y'all better know that.
Neo 420 Talks, the podcast, talking all things cannabis and some other things.
Welcome to Neo 420, where we talk all things cannabis and some other things. We're here today to discuss a great event that's coming to Portland, Oregon. It'll be the Oregon Hemp Convention on April 14th. We've got three great gentlemen with us today that are going to be talking about the convention, about where, when, how, what's going on at the convention. We've got one of the speakers that'll be discussing what the discussion will be whenever he's on the stage in the event. And then we've got another gentleman that'll be collaborating for the event with Oregon Hemp Convention. So I welcome you guys. If you want to, one at a time, Randall, if you don't mind. I know this is Randall Fish. Randall, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes. Hi, it's Randall Fish. I'm with the president of Oregon Fair Trade Cannabis and Fair Trade Cannabis International. We are a fair trade marketplace for the cannabis and hemp industry, and we have a booth at the Oregon Hemp Convention this year. And we have with us also our founder of Oregon and Fair Trade Cannabis, Chad Biasi, and our Chief Science Officer, David A. Dawson, and who is going to be a speaker at the convention this weekend.
That's really great. Randall, can you tell me when is the date again? It is April 14th, right? And what time?
Correct.
Will the event be?
It's April 14th at the Portland Expo Center. That's up I-5 by Portland International Raceway. It's from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the website, the website for the convention is the OregonHempConvention.com. And it's a full day of educational seminars with professional cannabis speakers to bring the community and the rest of the industry up to speed on the changing developments within the cannabis industry. We'll have a high concentration of industry technology buyers will be present, and we'll also be having Oregon Food Bank will be accepting donations at the door. It's the fifth year of this event, and it just seems to be growing bigger and bigger with more renowned and published speakers coming every time we have it. So it's a very exciting to see what's happening both in the landscape of cannabis and hemp, and a group of like-minded individuals that we can get together and help shape the future with cannabis and hemp.
Absolutely. I appreciate that outline, Randall. That is really exciting. I know Portland is going to be a great destination for this event. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody there at the event when we cover that on April 14th. And I know you mentioned that we've got one of the speakers that are here with us today, and I know this great gentleman, Mr. David A. Dawson. David, are you here there with us?
I am here, Paul.
Great to hear from you today.
It's good to be here. It's always good to be joining you, Paul, and being on Neo 420 Radio. That's real exciting for me. And essentially, what I'll be talking about at the convention is we all know that cannabis works for treating opiate addictions, and but the problem is nobody really seems to know why, and that's kind of what I'm going to be discussing is how cannabis works to treat opiate addictions and get people off of the opiates that have been such a scourge on society.
Well, we definitely need that education, David, because I've read constantly about so many different challenges that people have across the country with opioid addiction, whether it be individuals or family members or something like that. So I very much so look forward to that discussion that you present to the event. And I understand we've got another individual here with us, Mr. Chad Biasi. Chad, are you here with us?
Yes, I am, Paul. Good to be here.
Hey, Chad. Yes, great to have you. Could you tell us about the collaboration that you're working on with the Oregon Hemp Convention?
Well, fair trade cannabis is actually has to do with anything hemp or cannabis. And, of course, our focus is on networking and bringing the industry together through a cooperative effort, which seems to be lacking throughout the industry on a global scale, which is cutting out all the little guys who actually brought the industry to market. So the focus now has to be on what David is addressing, and that's what exactly are you trying to accomplish while you're consuming hemp or cannabis products? And, of course, some of those products would be consumables per se, but I'm interested in hearing David talk about how to use hemp and cannabis positively as we're all dealing with end-of-life scenarios, whether we know it or not. But basically, fair trade cannabis is about a launch of an e-commerce website in a Costco, Amazon type model, offering a place for anybody in the hemp and cannabis business to actually have an opportunity to offer their goods and services worldwide. The site provides secure banking with goods and services discounted to offset the membership fees associated with this cooperative. So the cooperative is basically it's a self-organizing community of like-minded professionals that are looking for what's next. And, of course,
that makes a lot of sense, Chad. I tell you, that makes a lot of sense as far as developing a cooperative network, because we do have challenges in all way. Coming back to and I look forward to hearing more and more about that, Chad. And you guys will have a booth at the Oregon Hemp Convention, is that correct?
That's correct.
Great. Well, I'll definitely encourage everyone to stop by and visit Chad there at the Fair Trade Cannabis booth that'll be at the Oregon Hemp Convention. Going back to that discussion part, David, is there anything that you could just give us a highlight as far as, what things that we could, look forward to hearing about? Just if you could share one bit of information about, successes that from transitioning from opioid addiction into utilizing cannabis or hemp as a medicine.
Well, yeah, I think the main thing that people need to be aware of is that both cannabinoids cannabinoids like THC and CBD both act on the CB1 receptor in kind of a similar fashion as the opiate molecules do. And so what you can do is it's really difficult to describe without an actual I have slides that kind of provide a real good explanation of the whole thing. And
right. Well, we look. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing that presentation at the event.
Yeah. Well, a picture paints 1,000 words, and that's basically what's going on, and it's really difficult to explain using only words and not using diagrams and pictures.
Oh, I completely understand. But this gives us more of an interest to attend the event in order to see that presentation, for all of that information and knowledge that you'll share with us. Randall, back to you with the event coming up. Have you guys got a pretty good anticipation of an audience, since it is the 5th year of the event?
Well, yeah, I've looked at over the last several years, we've noticed just last year it looked like we had probably about 300 or 400 people that kind of came through in the first couple hours, and then the people kind of trickle in and out, and we're hoping to get a full audience there for the speakers. We've got a pretty packed lineup, and I know that there's a few people, and there's a wide array of not just the health side of cannabis and hemp, but also the legal side. There's a couple of attorneys there speaking, as well as David Dawson. And like he said, it's difficult to break down the molecular biology with only words. You got to be able to see the diagrams and see the the way that the physiology within the body breaks down those molecules. And I'm excited to hear and see that, having read some of the technical information in David's book. Very excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I think it's going to be a very exciting event, and I believe that over the next week or so, I think there's going to be a lot of interest shown to it, because I know that there's groups all over the country that are developing infrastructure for this new move into the industry. We just covered an article with Neo 420 News yesterday, actually, that was talking about some new legislation that could be taking place in Tennessee. So there's a lot of developments going on right now in different states. Gentlemen, if you don't mind, if we could get some kind of closing statement from each of you, and then we'll definitely look at talking with you again really soon before the event. And what's your last words that you've got to say, Chad, before we go from this segment?
Well, of course, all of our actions, we hope to have positive outcomes from them, and part of our presentation on the 14th will be about how Fair Trade Cannabis is going to be providing home delivery services as part of, I've got this condition, I need to do something, what do I do? They speak to David, we talk about specifics, and then we can actually deliver products that address their whatever their human condition is. So it's just an evolution of the marketplace. That's what we're involved in.
That's great. That's really great. And David, look forward to your presentation. I definitely do. Do you have a close for us?
Well, yeah, when you came up with that, I'm like, okay, what do I say now? What do I say? Oh, my Lord, And I think the main thing that everybody needs to know, I mean, we all know that cannabis works, and the thing is, cannabis works best with education.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is a very big component right now that we are all challenged with, is getting everybody up to speed on the real factual information. And Randall,
exactly.
anything in closing from you?
Well, yeah, I just would like to invite everybody to come out and see our booth at Fair Trade Cannabis. Our organization was started so that we, like Chad was saying, is so that we can keep the people who have risked life imprisonment for the last 40 years to provide medicine and cannabis to the world, and lobbying to get it out there. We want to make sure that the cannabis and hemp industry stays in the spirit of fairness and honesty, like the way that it started. We want it's all about the plant and what it can do for humankind, not just as medicine, but also as an industrial product. And we're starting to see that education, in seminars like this and happening around the country, and laws being passed around the country, around the world, actually, that are starting to recognize that this plant that's been demonized for decades is now finally getting to a little bit of sunlight shined on it, and it's going to grow. And we want to be there as both for the Oregon Hemp Convention on the 14th, but also for Fair Trade Cannabis, so that people can have a fair trade marketplace that has, banking and education, and also a platform for patients to have video conferencing, secure video conferencing with their doctors of choice to help them, lead them through, their conditions, with information from David and so on and so forth, right there on the site. And like Chad said, we can have home delivery of the products that are there, and a representation of the whole industry, state by state and country by country. And that's kind of our mission for Fair Trade Cannabis. And we're very pleased to kind of collaborate with Oregon Hemp Convention on the 14th for this expo, the OregonHempConvention.com. It's April 14th from 10 to 7. at the Portland
Thank you
Expo
so much,
Center.
gentlemen, for that closing remarks. As here at Neo 420, we're going to continue to support all the local organic movements that are happening around the country, anything that has to do with cannabis and hemp. As always, stay medicated, friends.
From East Point to Charlotte, y'all better know that.
Neo 420 Talks, the podcast talking all things cannabis and some other things.